Members of the community talking platform and other viewers. I'm happy to be with all of you to discuss the new education policy which has been unveiled by the Government of India recently. The new education policy 2020 is considered to be a big ticket policy meant to bring substantial changes in the educational system of India. It is said that after 34 years, a new policy is introduced. Before that also, we had several of the academic activities started in this country based on the Kothari Commission report of 1968. Subsequently, the new education policy, the National Policy on Education of 1986, which was modified in 1992. The current dispensation at the center has introduced this policy of the National Policy of Education 2020 with a view to bringing a paradigm shift in the education of the country. In this policy, there are four main parts. The first part is school education. Second part is higher education. Third part is other key areas of focus. And fourth is making it happen. Now, as we can see in the policy document, there are lots of issues which are introduced relating to the students, the teachers, infrastructure, the value ideals, the various types of skills and talents to be imparted to the children at the school level. All these are based on several principles. These principles are considered to be very important pillars of the new educational policy 2020. 22 such principles are given by the new educational policy. The first is recognizing, identifying, and fostering the unique capabilities of each student. It is supposed to be a student-centered policy. Then it is supposed to provide foundational literacy and numeracy. The learners are supposed to have flexibility to choose learning trajectories and programs based on their talents. No separation between disciplines like arts and sciences or curricular or extracurricular activities or vocational and academic streams, etc. are now provided in the new policy. The approach is multidisciplinary and a holistic education. Emphasis on conceptual learning than rote learning is maintained. The students are supposed to be creative and they are supposed to have critical thinking. Other important issues like ethics, human and constitutional values are considered to be principles. Promoting multilingualism and the power of language is given importance. Life skills are introduced to the school children. Focus on regular formative assessment is considered to be important. Exclusive use of technology, respect for diversity and local context, equity and inclusiveness, synergy in curriculum across all levels of education, teachers and faculty as the heart of the learning process, light but tight regulatory framework, outstanding research, continuous review of progress of research, rootedness and pride in India, education as a public service, and substantial investment in a strong, vibrant public education system are considered as the principles on which this policy is enunciated. Based on these principles, the school education system now envisages a paradigm shift in which the old 10 plus 2 system is replaced with a 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 system. The first 5 years will be further divided into 3 and 2. First 5 years will be foundational and 3 years of Anganwadi for ages 3 to 6 years. Second years of class 1 and class 2 at ages 6 years and 8 years. Second 3 years will be preparatory for classes 3, 4 and 5 between the ages of 8 years and 12 years. Third 3 years will be middle school for classes 6, 7 and 8 between the ages of 12 years and 14 years. And final secondary school for the 4 years for classes 9, 10, 11 and 12 between the ages 14 and 18 years. Thus, the children are supposed to have 15 years of schooling, and during this 15 years of schooling, they are supposed to achieve a dozen goals. These goals are early childhood care and education, foundational literacy and numeracy, curtailing the dropout rates and ensuring universal access, curriculum and pedagogy design, holistic development through experiential learning and reduction in curriculum, empowerment of students for the choice of subjects, multilingualism, curricular integration of subjects, skills and capabilities, national level textbooks, transparency in assessment, support to gifted students, teacher development for enabling quality teaching. The pupils during this period will get various skills starting from the high level computer skills like coding. They are also supposed to get skills in crafts like carpentry. So, if you look at the goals and the principles on which the new education policy is designed, we will find that it's a very ambitious policy. If achieved properly, will definitely bring substantial quality changes in the education system of India. However, there are certain difficulties with the policy of 2020 also. We must know whether we are able to achieve all these when we have our system which is not fully prepared for it. The government of India is planning to make substantial investment like 6% of the GDP. But this talk of providing 6% of the GDP for education has been there for several years. And we have never experienced such a big investment. That being the past experience, one is surely not able to make a comment whether this policy will see the goals which it has set for itself. Another great difficulty is that the policy has to make certain laws and regulations to implement. As of now, the policy has not gone to the parliament. If the laws are to be passed, then the parliament has to be taken into confidence. So far, we had the education at the concurrent list. This means that the government of India and the state governments have a role in providing education. As a result, we have got the different types of schools existing in the country. We have the Central Board of Secondary Education, which is controlled by the government, central government, and we also have the state boards for the various states controlled by the state administration. Now, once the new education policy comes into being, we would find that the control will be totally with the central government, for which new laws will have to be passed. Now, we do not know whether the government of India will be able to bring such changes immediately, because as of now we have got various problems relating to the number of teachers in the school, various infrastructure availabilities, the inability of the children to reach the schools, inaccessible areas, and the dropout rates because of various socio-economic conditions of the parents. Now, unless the government of India is fully prepared to address all these concerns, the question whether the high-sounding policy will take off will still remain. Similarly, we also have the difficulty of the disadvantaged groups like the minorities or the socially backward classes. Due consideration will have to be given to bring them to the mainstream for education, provide them the required facilities, and their needs will have to be addressed. The question of language is also a major concern for people. Which languages are going to be promoted? Though the policy says that at the school level, the children will have the facility to learn under their own mother tongue or the home language which they are following in their houses. Now, how this will be translated into action in terms of creating appropriate curriculum and making the teachers available for achieving this goal is a major issue. So, though the policy looks very appealing, very ambitious, and also needed for the country, its implementation is going to be the major. We can expect that having introduced such an ambitious policy, the government machinery will move towards implementing it and making it a success. With these words, I would end this talk now. Thank you very much.